Hey guys, it's JoJo93. Happy Thursday. So I stayed up last night and watched, or I should say early this morning, but then got some sleep. I watched Gotham Knights episode 10 and episode 11 of the season. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to put both reviews in this video to save time, because we got a big day of stuff to talk about. So here's what I want to discuss with you guys. So a lot of people are giving up on the show. A lot of people are saying the show isn't good. A lot of people are like, it's not like the games. It's not the normal Gotham Knights. I find the show boring. It's because people give up too soon. They don't invest themselves in the story or in the drama or in the interest. And here, it really just delivers. And it just is awesome. These episodes are great. Now, while they're not as action-packed as you would expect, there's some other great surprises that we're going to get into. So, let's start with the first one. So, episode 10 is basically titled The Poison Pill. And so this episode, a lot of things go down. One of the biggest things that goes down is we see basically Brody is on to his dad, is in pain, has a toothache, goes and looks for pills to feel the pain. He finds his Court of Owl mask. We find out Lincoln is in charge. Talks to Stephanie about it. Stephanie says, okay, we'll handle this, we'll take care of it, and it's going to be fine. And so I love their dynamic. I think they've really had a great thing. But Stephanie is dealing with her identity right now because she doesn't know who she wants to be or who she is yet. And so that's kind of leading to some interesting things. So then, as the episode goes on, basically, Brody has a talk with his mom, trying to convince her of what's happening, and basically the mom stabs her son stabs Brody because she believes that he's trying to betray them, and unfortunately she's not just a mother, she's the real heir, the real master of the Court of Owls, not Lincoln. She's the real head, the head lady, if you will, and so she is the one that's in charge of taking care of that stuff. And so she kind of puts him in the back until Lincoln can find them in a chat, and she basically is like, oh, Lincoln, you need to clean up your mess. So, this is more of like a very, Lincoln may act in charge, but she's the one that's really in charge. So Rebecca is in charge. And this episode we dealt a lot more with the duality of Harvey looking at his video files and seeing his other Harvey, and he finds out that his other Harvey killed his dad, and so Turner's facing this terminal poison within him from the Electrum. So then Carrie decides to bring Turner to the hospital so that he can be saved. But unfortunately, Carrie reveals to her mom that she is Robin, and reveals that she knows where the fugitives are, and so then her mom pretty much bans her from seeing them and grounds her and all these sort of great things that we see in these kind of shows. So this is really interesting, and especially the Harvey Dent stuff, especially the stuff at the end with Rebecca. I thought that led to some pretty interesting stuff, which we'll get into in the next episode. So for episode 10, I'm going to give this episode an 8.5 out of 10. It was a pretty good episode, set the tone for what we'd expect, but the best part of the episode was the end of the episode. So in the end of the episode, Turner kind of, after having a conversation with Carrie about being lied to and everything, Turner has basically, and he kisses Stephanie, and Stephanie kisses him because she thinks he's going to die, so we find out that Turner has the clock's right, Turner has a certain time to live, so they have to bring him to the hospital. So Turner's saved, and then he kind of questions his dad and his legacy and everything that he's been through. But then he kisses Stephanie, and, they don't feel that spark, they don't feel that connection, it's just Stephanie and him are good friends, which is cool because they were dangling that low-hanging fruit for a long time, and now they kind of squashed it. So I'm glad the show finally did that in episode 10. That was a good time to do that. And then, as everything moves forward, we get that happening, and as it happens, we move forward to our next big thing, which is, in the end, basically you have a conversation between Duella and Turner, and Turner's like, and Duella's like, nothing you can do will insult me. And then you get Duella and Turner making out, and we'll get into what happens after the makeout into the next episode. But episode episode 10, like I said, 8.5 out of 10. Very solid episode. I'm liking this show. It's still pretty good. It's not my favorite CW show, but it is a pretty good one for in my humble opinion. Alright, let's get on to episode 11 now, guys. So now we're going to talk about episode 11 of Gotham Knights. And this one, I don't remember the title of it 100%, but, oh yes I do. It's called Daddy Issues. This episode, we meet more about Duella's history and her mom, and she's one of my favorite characters on the show, so I'm glad we really got to dive in and cover what she's been up to. So, this episode starts with Duella and Turner in bed together. You know, things are getting hot and steamy in Gotham City in this episode. That's what I would have titled this episode, because literally, it's what's going on. So, you have those two talking, and Turner remembers it's Duella's birthday, and, you know, she's talking about her wish, and then that she wants Turner to go meet someone. And so then they all go and meet her mom, go to this bar. It's a big risk, which we'll get into in a minute. So the team feels the spark of connection between everything happening, and it gets intense. In the last episode, we had Stephanie taken into custody, and she's not in trouble, but she makes a deal to basically give out information to bring down the Court of Owls. If everything works out, then she gets to, you know, then there's a deal struck where her family is okay, and so she wants to make the right deal to protect her education and to protect all those others, to help the good people and give Harvey all the stuff that he wants. And so we're still dealing with duality Harley at this moment, but you know, he's rejecting his power. There's a little fight scene in the brain where he was kind of having seizures and going crazy, as we got into in the last episode. But now this episode, Harvey's in control for the most part, and then we get this scene where they're all in the bar. So you have the officer going and doing his thing still, because in the last episode, Turner was actually rescued as his clock was running out. So that was awesome. Had this nice moment where they cared for each other, and now we're at the story. You know, one of the other things I want to mention as a martial artist, I noticed that, and I don't know if this is a part of police training. Someone can tell me in the comments, below. But in the last episode, you saw Harper's brother. I cannot remember the kid's name to save my life. He was doing explosive push-ups, and so like normal push-ups are you push down, and then you can do them on your knuckles. But explosive is like as you come down, you clap. You're adding explosive power to it, which is amazing. And so then this episode moves forward. We hear the story of Duella when she was a young kid at Arkham. She basically, she met Joker, and she always thought Joker was her father. But we found out in this episode, the twist is that Duella's mom reveals that Harvey Dent is her actual father. And then she ends up shooting Harvey Dent to prove a point, having to meet this mom, but this mom is crazy. Turner has issues with it. Turner gets knocked out, and is found by the cops. But thankfully, we have our good friend Harper's brother to go pose as the cop to save the day and save Turner before the cops grab him. And this leads into, towards the end of the episode, Turner's still questioning what he's going to do and everything, and he's still trying to figure out his plans. And then the episode ends with Harper going to follow Stephanie to her home because she thought she was going to sell out the team, but instead she was trying to just do what was right for herself, and she's in a rough, abusive relationship. Her mom, that is a drug addict and an alcoholic, is basically there she slaps her. And so Harper tells them that, you know, you don't deserve her, no one does, and then takes her, and then they go meet up with everyone to get Turner and everything. And then we end this episode, guys, with two big cliffhangers. Number one, we see Rebecca is trying to reach out to Harvey, and we don't know if it's Evil Harvey or Number One Harvey, but it is one of them. And then we get to see Stephanie and Harper are finally a couple. They kiss, and it's the spark that she's been waiting for. And it's so cool to see Harper happy on this show, because she's been always like kind of the brains of the operation, kind of upset, kind of mixture on everything. It's just been kind of iffy on how things go. But anyway, guys, I'm going to give episode 11 of Gotham Knights a 9.4 out of 10. It was my favorite episode I've seen so far. Let me know your thoughts of Gotham Knights so far, and what's your favorite episode so far. And I'll catch you in the next video.